Hello everyone, my name is David Barrios, and today we're going to talk about the creative process on one of my most recent pieces, Yotleleku, the merged one. Let's get right into it. This piece of art started as every other art piece does, a sudden strike of inspiration. This happened to me while doom scrolling on Instagram. I fell upon a very interesting art piece by an artist of the name Stan Ivan. His Instagram will be linked in the description for those interested. I saw this particular piece of his work, and it caught my attention for lots of reasons, but the main one was the merged fingers on the face of the creature. I used this piece as a reference for what I wanted to portray. A lot of artists use Pinterest to find inspiration for their artwork. Not me. I tend to use Instagram since it's where I started uploading my artwork. As I started working on the line work, I only deformed some of the fingers and a bit of the head of the creature, and kept the idea of the merged fingers on its face, staying pretty similar to my source of inspiration. Where I did change the concept was with the detailings. For the details, I decided to go with a decomposed organic mess on the fingers look, like the skin has been rotting and it's also changed shapes and adapted to its new environment, almost like a fungus of sorts. This idea came from one of my favorite horror games out there, Scorn. The artwork of the game is by far the most appealing look on a video game I have seen, and I love it. This game, in my opinion, truly catches the essence of Lovecraftian horror. For those who may not know what Lovecraftian horror is, I will explain it, as it is the main style which I try to create my art pieces in. Lovecraft, Eldritch, or Cosmic horror is a subgenre of horror fiction and weird fiction, which emphasizes the horror of the unknown and incomprehensible, more than gore or other elements of shock. It is named after the American author H.P. Lovecraft. This genre of horror is one that piqued my interest early on during the pandemic, and it started with a very simple question in my mind. What if there are creatures of unknown origin in a vast and plain, desolate world? When I found out about the existence of a genre that entertained the concept of such creatures, I started consuming this genre. I tried to find as much Lovecraftian stories and horror media that H.P. Lovecraft or other artists have made, as well as learning from other different kinds of horror media and trying to create my version of it. I wanted to maintain the mystery of the creature by making it cloaked. The cloak was part of some experimenting I've been doing on the side for a while. The other reason why I wanted to make it wrapped in a robe/cloak was to hide the terror of its body. Since you can see how badly the features on the face are, God only knows what is hidden behind the cloak. I felt that it made the creature more horrific, considering the countless possibilities of how bad it looks under that. Sometimes simplicity is the best to create horror as well. I feel like my current understanding of Lovecraft as a horror genre is definitely up to interpretation. Since the horror that it portrays is meant to be incomprehensible and unthinkable, I find it best if I include different types of horror and smash them together in order to drive the incomprehensible part of it. One such example is that I implemented megalophobia, the fear of huge and giant objects, to the overall design of this creature. I believe that something that is meant to be incomprehensible should be out of our mind's reach while we try to understand its gargantuan size. Huge objects tend to become incomprehensible when we face them. At least for me, that is. This next detail is something that is currently part of my style, and of course subject to change in the future when I keep improving. I like to make my creatures be in a plain, vast white background. This lack of scenery is not only because backgrounds can be an issue sometimes, but also a personal preference as well. We're so used to seeing the world full of noise and things happening, and people and nature, that when we find ourselves in areas that lack these features of our world, it makes us feel alienated. The lack of normality is unsettling, and I believe that having an empty world or realm makes the horrors of the mind even greater, because the only thing you see standing is this behemoth of a creature of unknown origin in a plane of existence that seemingly has no life. Finally, I covered the creature in a thick shroud of dust/fog. I did this in order to make the creature seem more mysterious and ominous to the tiny humanoid on the floating island at the end. And that was episode 1 of Digital Time-lapses, Jotleliku, the Merged One. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the ramblings of my creative process, as well as the art piece itself. Please consider leaving a like, leave your thoughts or feedback down in the comments, and consider subscribing if you like my art and horror.